Here's some terms and phrases that you'll need to know that we'll be using in the gym and online. Sets and reps. So a set is kind of like rounds. We'll give you how many sets you need to do and how many reps. For example, we might do 3 sets of 8 reps. That means we're gonna do 3 rounds of 8 repetitions in order to complete that exercise. Rep ranges. So we might give you a rep range of something like 6 to 8. When we give you that kind of rep range, we want to make sure that you're hitting in between those numbers. So if you feel like you could do more than 8 reps, we want you to increase the weight. And if you feel like you can't hit the 6 reps, then let's decrease the weight.
Rest time. Something that you will see on the app in each workout is a prescribed rest period. You want to make sure that you're sticking to that rest period because given that number, we're eliciting a certain response. If we want you to do a little bit more conditioning, the rest period is going to be a lot shorter. If we're going for strength exercises, that rest period is going to be a lot longer. But sticking with those rest periods will ensure that you're recovered and getting the adaptations that we're looking for in that particular workout. So even if you feel like you could get started right away, we advise you to go throughout that whole rest period, especially in a strength phase, and we will also coach you on that in person. Movement prep versus a warm-up. Movement prep will take place after you warm up. When you come into the gym, we'll usually have you hop on a treadmill, on a bike, to start to warm up your core temperature, just getting the body movement. Whereas movement prep is going to be a very specific set of exercises that could either be corrective exercises or exercises that are going to complement the session that you're going to go into that day. For example, a movement prep might be focused lower body if you're going to hit a lower body routine. Doing so will ensure that you're performing at the best of your ability and getting the most of that workout.
Supersets. So a superset is when you do 2 exercises without rest in between. So for example, we might give you a squat along with a bench press. If we're doing a superset, you'll do your reps for the first round of your squat and then go straight into the bench press, and then your rest period will take place.
Circuits. A circuit is a form of exercise where we're going to line up 3 to 5 exercises back to back. So you're not going to rest in between each exercise. Your rest will be in the transition period. So let's say we're having you do squats and then a push-up and then a lunge and then an RDL. You're going to be performing those back to back in a circuit fashion. This is usually meant to get that heart rate up and give you more of a metabolic conditioning type effect to your workout. So whenever you see a circuit, just know that we're trying to push the pace. RPE. RPE stands for rates of perceived exertion. This means that for every exercise that we do, there's going to be an exertion level. And the scale that we're using is a scale from 1 to 10. 1 is going to be like you're laying in bed doing nothing. 10 is the most difficult challenge you've ever faced physically. So if we say, I want you to hit this exercise at an RPE level 6, that means it's going to be a moderate intensity workout, maybe a little bit more. But it shouldn't be so much so that you're hitting failure or that you can't complete that exercise. Now, if we want to go way extreme on the other end with exertion, we will say an RPE of 9 or 10. That means that last rep of that exercise should be extremely difficult. You can't go one more rep with good form.
RIR, reps in reserve. So when we're talking about RIR, we want you to perceive how many more reps you could do. So if I tell you 2 reps in reserve, when you are going through your set and you get to the point where you can only do 2 more reps, that's where we'll stop. We're gonna keep those 2 reps in reserve.
Macros. This is a term that you will hear a lot when it comes to your nutrition. Macros are the nutrients that your body needs in large amounts. So that's gonna be your protein, carbohydrates, and fats. So when we give you a macro recommendation, meaning we want 30% of your daily caloric intake coming from protein, that means 30% of all your calories that you're consuming from that day will be protein. A good rule of thumb is to always aim to get the amount of protein of your goal weight. So let's say you're 190 pounds and you want to be at 170. you will aim to eat 170 grams of protein for that day, and that will be into your macro calculations as well.
Mobility versus stretching. In your program and your movement prep, you'll see that we have a variety of exercises that are going to be low intensity. Mobility exercises are more movement based, whereas stretching exercises will be more of a hold. So as we go through these different types of exercises, they'll increase your flexibility, mobility, and stability.
Conditioning. Conditioning is an important component to any well-balanced health and fitness program. The way that we're gonna hit conditioning is to make sure that we're working all the different gears in your body's engine, meaning there's a steady state gear, which could be sustained for a prolonged period of time. And then there's high gear, which is gonna tap into your type 2 muscle fibers, very explosive movements, but you won't be able to maintain that for a long period of time. A well-balanced conditioning program is gonna hit on both of those components. So you will definitely be pushed to your limits, but we also want you to have a gas tank that could carry you for a long period of time.